Hey everyone, this is Alex from WarnOffKeys.com, and welcome to my fourth Discord.js version 13 tutorial. In this video, we're going to be taking a basic look at slash commands, and while we won't be making our own slash command handler in this video, I'm just going to be showing you all of the basic concepts behind slash commands so you have a better idea of how to incorporate them into your own command handler or into your bot in general. So before we get started, I just want to quickly mention that knowing JavaScript is a prerequisite to following this video and this entire series. But if you don't know JavaScript, don't worry. I have a complete JavaScript course, and the first hour is on YouTube for free, so you can check that out in the link down below. And I want to first make sure that my bot is compiling everything and running correctly. Now, I added a script called dev that runs nodemon index.ts, and nodemon will actually use tsnode, which is the software we looked at in the first video. So if you're using TypeScript, you can go ahead and add this in here. And if you're using JavaScript, you can simply change TS to JS and everything should work as expected. So I'm now going to run this with npm run dev. We now see it starting tsnode index.ts. So this is going to automatically check to see if any of our TS files changed. And if so, it's then going to automatically restart our bot. I can use control tilde, which is the key below your escape key at the top left, or command tilde if you're on Mac, to go ahead and toggle the console on or off. This will still keep the process running, but this way we have more of our screen to look at when we're actually programming. So let's go ahead and actually make our first slash command. And there are two types of slash commands you should be aware of. One is a guild-based slash command, which are registered instantly, and this is highly encouraged to use when developing or testing your slash commands. That's because you can specify them to only one specific test guild, and they are registered instantly. We also have global slash commands, which are registered to every guild or every server that your bot is in, and this might take up to an hour to be visible to all servers. So with that said, it's highly encouraged when developing, you only use guild commands until you know everything was 100% working. Then you can switch over to global commands. So I'm going to go over to my Discord, and I'm going to copy my testing server by right-clicking and clicking copy ID. If you don't see this option, you will have to enable developer mode on your Discord account. I can then go back, and I'm going to create a constant here called guild ID and set it equal to this string right here. I can then say const guild equals client.guilds.cache.get. We could then pass in the guild ID. And then I'm going to create a variable which we will modify. So I'll use let here, and we'll call this commands. So commands is going to hold the application command manager for either our guild or our entire application. So for the guild command manager, will handle all the commands for a specific guild. In this case, this test guild right here. And the global command manager will handle all global commands. So we need to fetch the specific one depending on if this guild actually exists. So I can say if guild. Then I can say commands equals guild.commands. We could then have an else statement here, and I could then say commands equals client.application.commands. So either way, we now have a command manager where we can actually register and use our slash commands. Let's go ahead and register a ping command. I can say commands.create. This will pass in an object, and there's a couple pieces of information we need to pass in. For example, the name, which is ping. We also have a description, which can be basically replies with Pong. And then if I save this, our bot should automatically restart, as we see right here. Once we see the bot is ready, we can go into Discord. And if I do /ping, we now see it right here. It says replies with Pong. So if I run this, it's actually going to fail because we're not listening for whenever this actually happens. So we see this interaction failed. We can dismiss this message. And going back, we now have to listen for whenever people actually run this command. To do that, we have to listen for the interaction create event on our client. So outside of our ready callback here, I can say client.on interaction create. This is going to have a callback here, and I'm going to make this an asynchronous function. We then have one parameter, which is our interaction. And then within here, we first need to make sure that this interaction is going to actually be a command. There are multiple types of interactions, and we'll dive into different types in future videos. But for now, we just need to make sure we're handling a command. So I can say if not interaction dot is command, I can then return. So now we need to access a few different pieces of information from this interaction. So I can say const empty brackets equals interaction. So we're going to be destructuring some properties. If I use control space, we now see all the options we have. The most important one for now will be command name, and we will also need options, which we will access later on. But for the ping command, we just need access to command name. That's because the interaction create event is fired every single time any interaction is interacted with. And so this means any command or any other type of interaction. And so we need to specify based off the command name how we want to handle each individual command. So I can say if command name is exactly equal to ping, I can then say interaction dot reply. We can pass in an object here where we have a few different options. The first one will be content, which will just simply say pong. And then we can also pass in ephemeral, which is basically going to be if only the user who ran the command can see the reply. Now, if I save this and I go back to Discord, I can do /ping, and it says pong, and it says only you can see this message, dismiss message. So if I go back and I comment this out and I save it, I can then go back to Discord, and if I do /ping again, I think our bot's still restarting, so let me try that one more time. Here we see pong, and now anyone in this channel would be able to see this. Going back, I prefer to have this enabled. It's up to you though. And now we have a very basic ping pong command. Now let's look at a very simple add command, which is going to allow us to use different options or arguments on our command. So going up here, I could say commands.create. We can pass in the name, which is add, the description, which would be adds two numbers. And then we can pass in options, which would be an array of objects, and each one is going to be various arguments that we can add in. If I use control space, we get to see all the options. The description, name, and type are required. Choices, options, and required are optional. So let's start off with the name. The first one will be num1. The description is going to be the first number. And then required will be true. We also need to specify a type. So I can say type, and there are different types and different numbers that correspond to each type. However, adding in different numbers like this makes it harder to understand what each one is doing, so we can actually access each individual type that we want based off of its name. To do this, keep note of what you named your Discord import. Mine is discord.js. So if I go down here, I can say discord.js.constants.application command option types dot, and now we have all these options here. Boolean, channel, integer, mentionable, number. We have a bunch of other options. We're looking for number because obviously this is an add command and we're looking to add in two numbers. So then I can add in another object here where the name will be num2. We have a description, which would be the second number. And I just realized I said numbers before. Okay, let's fix that. And we also have required is true, and type, it'll be the same thing. Discord.js.constants.application command option types.number. So now we're not listening for anything on the interaction yet, but let's go ahead and see if this was actually registered. If I save this, I could go back into Discord. I could do /add. And here we see it adds two numbers with num1 and num2. Now we see two of them here. This one says the actual word number, or this one says num1. So this is the one we just created. And this is one that I created when I was writing the article for this video, which can be found in the description down below. So I'm going to click on this. And now if I add in any type of non-number, for example, the word test, and we now see num1 becomes red, and this isn't going to work, even if number2 is a number. If I press this, Discord shakes a lot, and it says input a valid number. So now I can enter 20, and if I run this, it's not going to work because we're not listening for it, but now the command is actually working. So I can dismiss this, and now we can actually listen for whenever this is ran. So I can say else if command's name is exactly equal to add. We can first gain access to the num1 and num2 options, and that's why we imported options right here earlier. So I can say const num1 equals options dot get number. We can then pass in the name, in this case num1, and then I can say const num2 equals options dot get number, and we can pass in num2. I can now say interaction dot reply. we can pass in our content, which I'll use a template literal here, and I'll say the sum is, and then we'll say num1 plus num2. Now we're getting some errors here. If I hover over this, it's going to say object is possibly null. If I hover over get number, we see that it's returning either number or null. So in the case when null is returned, we want to have a fallback or default value. So we can simply just say or 0. Now technically, these are required, as we say right here. If you're using TypeScript, you could add in exclamation points at the end, and this will tell TypeScript that you know for sure something is going to actually be here. So because I'm using TypeScript, I will use this instead, and I'm only doing this because required is true. Therefore, these have to be there if the command's actually running, and so we know for sure that these are not going to be null. Now I'm going to make sure that only we can see this reply. And if I save this and I go back here, I can now say add 50 and 50, and it now says the sum is 100. So this is one example of how you can use options or arguments within your slash commands. The next thing I want to show you is how you can defer replies, because by default, you only have 3 seconds to reply, but in some use cases, you may need more time than that to gather the necessary information to provide a meaningful reply. So we can use deferring replies to solve this problem. I can say await interaction dot defer reply. And if we do want ephemeral to be true, we have to pass it in here. So now I'm going to simulate a 5-second delay, which is obviously more than the 3 seconds we get by default. To do this, I can say await new promise, resolve, and then in the callback, I'm going to immediately call set timeout for resolve. And then I'm going to make this last 5 seconds. So we can say 5,000. And so this is not going to correctly work because we need 3 seconds to reply. Now, because we are using defer reply, just a normal reply here will not work. We need to say edit reply instead. And so now this becomes a problem because we typically pass this in right here, which will make more sense here in a few seconds. So if I get rid of this and I save our code, I can then go back into Discord and I could do /add 50 and 50. It now says one of keys tutorial is thinking. And then after 5 seconds, it says the sum is 100. And this is why we had to tell it to only show it to the user here, because there is an initial reply saying that our bot is thinking, and then we edit that later on. Now keep in mind that this does return a promise, as we see right here. So if you do have code after it, you might want to add in await here. So these are all the basics of slash commands. If I scroll up and if I were to delete this guild ID right here, this would then register using our application. So therefore, these will be global commands. With that said, it'll take up to an hour for these to register. So make sure everything is working using your testing guild before you actually make this a global command. In the next video, I'm going to show you a much easier way to create and manage all your slash commands using a pre-built command handler. That way we don't have to have a bunch of excess code in here, and it makes everything more streamlined. Thanks for watching the video. If you want access to video source code, as well as early access to future tutorials, consider clicking on the join button down below the video to support the channel.